Have you ever heard about the conservation status of a species, like vulnerable, threatened, or endangered, and wondered what this even means, or maybe who decided on this status? Well, it was most likely determined by the IUCN Red List. Let's talk a little bit more about the Red List and define the categories it uses to catalog species. IUCN stands for the International Union for Conservation of Nature. Much like the name suggests, it's a union with members who aim to protect the world's precious and diverse species. In 1964, the IUCN established the Red List of threatened species. The Red List is a database that categorizes animal, plant, and fungi species by their risk of global extinction. It's the world's most comprehensive information source on the extinction risk of animals, fungi, and plants. Commonly called the Barometer of Life, the IUCN Red List is a useful tool used by scientists and conservationists for informing conservation efforts for species and habitats that need it most. To summarize, Sir David Attenborough states, "The IUCN Red List tells us where we ought to be concerned and where the urgent needs are to do something to prevent the despoliation of this world. It is a great agenda for the work of conservationists." In addition to giving a species its status, the Red List also includes other important information about the species in its database. This valuable resource is updated a few times per year. IUCN states they have assessed more than 157,100 species on the Red List, about 7% of the world's species. The IUCN has goals and plans to continue to increase the number of species assessed to create a more well-rounded picture of life on Earth. The IUCN Red List data shows that overall biodiversity on Earth is declining. Unfortunately, the data shows that more than 44,000 species are threatened with extinction, including 41% of amphibians, 37% of sharks and rays, 36% of reef-building corals, 34% of conifers, 26% of mammals, and 12% of birds. Now that we know a little bit more about the IUCN and the Red List, let's talk about those categories. The criteria taken into consideration when determining a species' Red List status include information related to the species' geographic range, population size, population increase or decrease, and an analysis of its extinction probability. The Red List has 9 total categories used to classify the extinction risk status of a species. 2 categories are used when the species has not been adequately studied to be able to apply an appropriate status. These are not evaluated, commonly abbreviated as NE, and data deficient, DD. The 7 categories applied to species with adequate data for assessment progress from least to greatest risk for extinction. They are least concern, near threatened, vulnerable, endangered, critically endangered, extinct in the wild, and extinct. Least concern. The populations of species in this category are stable. These species are unlikely to become endangered or extinct in the near future. Near threatened. These species are likely to be classified as vulnerable in the future. Vulnerable. These species face a high risk of extinction in the wild without further human intervention. Endangered. These species face a very high risk of extinction in the wild. Critically endangered. The populations of species in this category are in an extremely critical state that puts them at extremely high risk of extinction in the wild. Species in the vulnerable, endangered, or critically endangered categories are all considered threatened. Extinct in the wild. The remaining members of species in this category are only known to survive in captivity or cultivation, or well outside its native range. Extinct. There is no reasonable doubt that the last individual of these species has died. There actually have been instances where species that were classified as extinct were later rediscovered and placed into a new category. These species are known as Lazarus species because, in a sense, they came back to life. Some examples of Lazarus species include Bermuda petrels, tacajes, and coelacanths. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned something new about the IUCN Red List. Give this video a like if you found this interesting. Leave any comments or questions you might have, and subscribe to have more wild wonderings answered. Check out my website's blog, The Field Guide, where you can get access to this information and more. Head to the Wildwiris shop to browse sustainable clothing and accessories with wildlife on them, illustrated and designed by me. Until next time, keep adventuring, keep exploring, and keep wondering about the wild world.